students at the University of California Berkeley are protesting a Bill Maher graduation speech because of his views on Islam. One student set up a change.org petition and got over 1,800 signatures thus far. That's kind of amazing. They say, quote, Bill Maher is a blatant bigot and racist who has no respect for the values UC Berkeley students and administration stand for. In a time where climate is a priority for all on campus, we cannot invite an individual who himself perpetuates a dangerous learning environment. Bill Maher's public statements on various religions and cultures are offensive, and his dangerous rhetoric has found its way into our campus communities. I think the saddest thing in this entire story is the college Republican group. They had nothing negative to say. They had nothing bad to say. They've been silent on this. They're like, oh, Maher's going to give a speech? Whatever. That's fine. Don't care. It's the liberal groups and Muslim groups that are upset and that are protesting. And they showed some comments on the article about this on Mediaite, and they're hilarious because it's all people basically patting themselves on the back and saying, you know, I believe in tolerance, which is why I want to ban Bill Maher from speaking. Okay, you don't see the contradiction there? You don't see how you're the one that doesn't believe in tolerance because you want to ban somebody or censor somebody simply because you don't agree with it? And then there is another Muslim group. This article broke right before I came on air here, where they said, of course we're against Bill Maher coming to speak here, just like we'd be against the KKK coming to speak here. Look, I brought this up in a conversation or an interview with Cenk Uygur that we did, whether it was last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and I tried to lay out to him, Cenk, there are real examples of, since liberals understand that Muslims are oftentimes a persecuted minority, there are so many examples of liberals over-defending Islam and Muslims because they think that means they're protecting a persecuted minority, but sometimes they defend to the point where they're tolerating intolerance, and they do something like try to ban Bill Maher from giving a speech because they don't agree with him on every single thing ever. I mean, these are people, keep in mind, man, these are people who would agree with Bill Maher's position on abortion. They agree with him on gay rights. They agree with him on the issue of actual racism. Okay, they agree with him on the issue of taxes, on foreign policy. Bill's a committed non-interventionist. He always talks about this stuff. But just because on one issue he doesn't agree 100% with them, and he's pointed to some polls of some scary attitudes in the overall Muslim world, now all of a sudden he's a bigot, now all of a sudden he's intolerant, now all of a sudden he shouldn't be allowed to speak. No, this is the problem. The problem is that they're over-defending, and now it's tolerating intolerance, and now they think they're standing for liberal values, but this isn't liberal at all. You're standing for conservative values. When you want to censor somebody because you don't agree with them, that is a conservative idea 101. What liberals do is liberals say, even if I don't agree with you, I'm going to hear you out. Even if I think you're 100% wrong, let's listen to what you have to say, and then maybe later in some different forum, I'll rebut your argument. But see, it's also an admission of defeat, because when you say, I'm going to censor you, that's your way of saying, well, I can't beat you in an argument of ideas. I can't beat you if we sit down and have a logical discussion. Therefore, I'm just going to say that you're not even allowed in the conversation. And by the way, it's not like he's going to go up there and talk about that particular issue. He's going to go up there and give a fucking graduation speech and probably talk about life and how you can become successful, so on and so forth. But even if he were to talk about the issue that you don't agree with him on, it doesn't matter if you don't agree with him. He has a right to speak. With Ayaan Hirsi Ali, it was the same thing. Some people said, oh no, they're just angry because she was getting an award from, what was it, Brandeis University? And, okay, fine, you could be mad at her getting an award. If you want to protest that, go right ahead, knock yourself out. But it certainly was the case that many of the liberals were saying, no, we want to stop her from even speaking. We want to censor her because we don't agree with her because she said some stuff that we think is offensive. Great, you're offended by it? Fine. then disagree with it. Write a blog about it. Do a YouTube video about it. Give your own speech afterwards in a different setting. But don't tell her you can't speak because I disagree with you. This is where liberals and progressives are honestly just flat out becoming conservatives. The idea that you could just censor anybody if they don't agree with you on absolutely everything. And to go after a guy like Bill Maher, this was what was so upsetting and annoying about the situation with Sam Harris, Bill Maher, and Ben Affleck, is that for people to try to lump in guys like Sam Harris and Bill Maher with fucking Bill O'Reilly and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity as if, like, they agree on anything. No, not at all. Even on the issue where Maher and Harris are very, very anti-Islam because they're anti-all religions, and even when they point to stuff like the polls, which do have some scary information in them, they still do it in a much more complex way and in a more intelligent way than a guy like Hannity does, where he actually crosses over into Islamophobia from time to time. And a guy like Maher and Harris, while they might overstate certain things sometimes, they're not doing it to be malicious, they're not doing it to be racist or bigoted, and they're not racist or bigoted. They're clearly smart guys, and to pretend like they're racist or bigoted and like they agree with Hannity and O'Reilly, you're being disingenuous when you make a point like that. And I told Cenk, Cenk did not agree with me, but Cenk was wrong when he said, oh, I don't see the problem of liberals over-defending. I don't see the problem of liberals basically being so tolerant that they tolerate intolerance. Well, that's exactly what this is. To say I don't want Bill Maher to speak because he said a few words I disagree with on the issue of Islam and or Muslims, well, just ban him. Get him off my fucking campus because I don't agree with him. Yeah, very liberal of you to take the same tactics that old school Southern conservative Republicans take all the time. How, oh, we don't like what the Dixie chick said, ban them. Oh, we don't like this comment that the Democrat made, ban them. Glad to see you're taking their tactics, yet at the same time you're proclaiming that you're more liberal.